I cried watching an adult ride a bike, and that just made me realize that a lot of us are still working on our childhood traumas.
Oh my gosh. That hit, bro. Like, I don't know. Can you explain more about it? Like, who was it?
It was Tana Mojo, and it felt like watching someone reclaim something that they never had. I'm Morgus, by the way.
And I'm Bridget. And on the topic of Tana Mojo, she just learned how to ride a bike.
Yeah, she just learned how to ride a bike. It's something she never was able to. Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate because she never learned how to ride a bike in her childhood. And it seems like so funny because it's just riding a bike. But her newest YouTube video, if you actually watch it, like she's struggling so much throughout the video. And by the end of the video, her boyfriend encourages her and stuff like that. And she finally like rides it alone and just like I teared up. And that was really...
That's such an emotional journey. I would have teared up too.
And she was reflecting a lot, which made me also think that this year I also was reflecting a lot. And I had like a pretty long realization phase. And I just wanted to talk about this today for our viewers and our audience, that it's okay to have a realization phase. It's okay to kind of force yourself, have an answer, because sometimes life forces you. And sometimes I've been told that your realization phase is too long, but even though it was kind of long, it's an emergency call for answers. And I got a lot of answers, sometimes from just like staring at the white wall in the dark, thinking.
Just like, it's like shower thoughts, like you're in the shower, just like having the most like biggest realizations, like, oh my gosh, like I should have said this in an argument or something like that. It's like in the most random places.
Yeah. Personally, to share the story with the audience, this started back in 2024. It was quite a long time ago, more than a year now. It was around November when I left my first job. And after leaving my first job, I thought that I was going to do content creating. That's why I love talking about content creating, because it's very lucrative and it brings you a lot of money. And I was doing a lot of money at the time, but sad story comes around and all of a sudden, I wasn't doing as much money. So me leaving the job, the secure job I had out of nowhere, kind of left me lost, because I also didn't want a normal job, but I also wasn't still there yet with content creating. So
I totally understand that, like, oh, I do kind of need this 9 to 5, but I don't really see myself in the future like that, you know? You're kind of striving for something.
Yeah, but that leaves you in a very... Sometimes you don't know if it's depression. Sometimes you don't know if it's just a dark phase, but I call it the realization phase. What I want the viewers to get out of this, because I had a crazy 2025, guys. Like, I had moments where I cried. I had moments where I thought I was a horrible human and that I'm a weak person.
Oh, Orcus, no.
Yeah, and I thought that I couldn't hold a job, and it's all of those opinions from people. And I just wanted to open up about this, because a lot of people would not talk about this, but it's so hard navigating life as a 20-year-old, because we just started trying to get a job you love, and sometimes a boss might be rude, and sometimes you might love the job, but you leave it because of the boss, and sometimes it just might be that it's not what you want. For me, I was struggling a lot of financially. I had a lot of mental health issues this past year.
Ooh,
and
tell me about it.
It was a very dark year, so I feel like even though it was dark, I had to go through this year, through this realization phase, for me to get here and kind of know what I want, and know if I'm applying to a job, if I'm still not at the dream, which is point B, and I'm in point A, I still know what point B is pretty clear, and I know where I'm starting from point A, but I didn't know any of that. Everything was so blurry in 2025. So I think we all need, even though it's a year sometimes, and my parents and people criticize me a lot, sometimes you need a year. Sometimes you might need a year, sorry for cussing. But to all the young people out there and people our age, feel free to have a year like that. I know a friend of mine was joking and telling me, oh, don't have another realization year. We will have phases along the way in a long life like this, again and again, until we learn, until we change, and it's like an emergency call to change our life, basically.
Oh, Organs, that's so beautiful. Your story about Tana really inspired me because it just reminds me that no matter how big or small the goal is, like kind of the fact you're working towards it and you're going through all these fails and all these successes, at the end of the day, it's such like a great dopamine booster because it's like, wow, I achieved this no matter the grounds of it. Like, oh my gosh, I just started my own business, or oh my gosh, I just finally called my bank, reaching back to like episode 2, I think. I finally called my bank, yada yada yada. Like that is still such like a huge goal. Yay.
I think also sometimes faith helps us a lot. Like it's something that people usually don't talk about, but sometimes when you're in these dark holes of reaching your goal, because it's a disappointment of not getting from A to B, even with small goals, the disappointment brings you in a dark hole. And you think that it's the end of the world, but it's not the end of the world. And sometimes we just should have a little faith. I know it's kind of taboo to talk about in social media, but whether you believe in a God or universe or whatever you believe out there, I think it's so important as a young person, because we're getting brainwashed by social media and kind of thinking that we're all alone in this world and we don't matter and the universe is so big we have no importance. I think we have importance. And I think those negative social media thoughts bring us in a very deep hole of like thinking that we're not good enough or thinking that we're not that special. We are special because everyone is different and we are special. So I think whether we're in a dark place or not, whether we're getting from point A to B, we should have a little faith that we will, besides the struggles that you mentioned, Bridget.
Okay, preach. I like that. I love that. Oh my gosh. Organs being so absolutely sentimental, or I don't even know the word for it, but like inspirational is definitely one of the bigger things. I think you have like a lot to say on your mind as a result of your 2025 experience. I'm so sorry. That was just like a really crazy year for you, like roller coasters up and down, but I'm just so glad we get to start this year out together.
Yeah.
It's just, we've finally released episode 1 and 2 this last Wednesday. Today, I believe it is February 7th. So congratulations, Orcus.
And I'm happy for everyone who joined us. And I'm sure each day people are going to join us more and more.
We've been getting so much support lately. It's crazy. I love it. I love to see where it's going. I love to hear everyone's like opinions and all that. There's definitely so much more you guys can do to support us. Definitely give us like a 5 stars. If you're listening here on Spotify and YouTube, you can give us a thumbs up and subscribe. But we really do appreciate all the support and love that we're getting.
Download our episodes, guys. Whether you're on your flight, whether you're on a flight, whether you're just like, sometimes you just don't want to have a conversation on a taxi. Sometimes you're like wherever, you just put your headphones on and search Done Dirty Diaries and you'll have fun.
No one's gotta know. No one's gotta know. Whatever your niche is, whatever your favorite niche is. I mean, if you're usually a true crime podcast listener like I am, I listen to a lot of Crime Junkie and stuff. It's still kind of like a nice place to like decompress after like a long day, just hear our stories. We'd also like to hear your guys' stories upcoming. We'd love to just see how our podcast grows and see what type of audience we can see, because I know definitely there's some insights, especially if like of the region thing. That's one thing we were talking about, who's hosting like all the platform, uploading all that, and like what kind of audience is it gonna, like TikTok gonna project it out on, is YouTube gonna project it out on, and that really does depend on kind of like what we use as keywords, what we put in the title, what we use as like the thumbnail. That has a lot of play into it. The algorithm is so crazy. But I did notice it is reaching some Kosovo people, but it's also reaching some United States people, which is like really exciting. I feel like if we have that broad spectrum of an audience, that's still more people to like share it to their friends, to their families, to their like loved ones, all that, and it's gonna give us more reach.
Yeah, I'm so happy. And I also see comments, guys. Thank you. The most comments we get are over on TikTok.
Thanks for interacting. We love reading comments.
Thanks for interacting. It's our first week of our podcast and we already see comments, and yeah, it makes me so happy. And people are actually like expressing their opinions. And on the topic of social media and content creating, like we know by now that both Bridget and I know that content creation can make you money. But Bridget, have you seen some creators doing like repetitive things and making money? Like, can we talk a little bit about that?
I feel like that's one thing where it's like if they're doing a niche where it's like, oh, this thing is hitting, I'm just gonna repeat it, repeat it, and repeat it. So sometimes it gets bland and boring, but some people, like, they have a cute, like, spin to it, and then, like, the audience loves it, and then they're, like, kind of set up for success, and it's crazy to see these people do them things. Do you have, like, any examples?
Like, my examples are, for example, Nara Smith. She's probably making millions of dollars.
Oh,
from
Nara Smith. I love her hair.
Yeah.
Her hair is so cute.
Her hair, her outfits, like, she gets the best designers. She also got designers, I think, from Kosovo. They live in New York now. Like, she looks all good all the time, but it's also, like, very aesthetic and comfort. So I kind of wanted to just, like, open a topic and ask you, do you think that in social media we kind of strive to see repetitive things that makes us calm and feel comforting? Because the ones that are making millions of dollars, like, there's there's a lot of virality on ASMR, a lot of virality on just, like, people cooking, like Nara Smith, and, like, looking aesthetic. So I see a lot of influencers like that, and I think it's just, like, crazy ways to make money. And it's just not only Nara Smith who's doing these repetitive / comfort things that we love to watch, and it tells us a lot about us as an audience. We sometimes want to have comfort and, like, see aesthetic things. I also see a lot of ASMR, and I'm like, oh my god, these people are making millions of dollars from literally millions of views from just like doing this. So it's like, I know it's very niche, but, like, which one of these would you do? Like, would you do cooking? Would you do, like, cartoon drawing? Those have millions of views. Would you do ASMR?
Oh, I do like to draw. I mean, I have, like, an art account on Instagram. I did want to pursue that a little bit, but it does take a lot of time, and I do not have the motivation right now for drawing. But oh my gosh, Wargis, you just mentioned, like, one of my favorite things. I do love ASMR. So ASMR is a YouTube phenomenon in a way, where it's gone back, I believe, kind of like 2015. People would upload videos with a microphone like this, like a Blue Yeti. It can pick up, like, the slightest of sounds. Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna, like, brush the microphone, or like, do, like, little cute, like, role plays going on where, like, cutting your hair and stuff like that. But ASMR is kind of a response from the brain. You get, like, that tingling sensation. Maybe you've watched a movie where it's someone's getting, like, a haircut. There's someone's, like, cleaning the house, and it's super silent. All you can hear is just, like, each little, like, squeak of the sponge that's, like, scrubbing on, like, the kitchen counters and all that. Or you can hear, like, the really crisp sound of, like, cutting shears. That's kind of that response. And a lot of people get it, some people don't. But for me, it helps me sleep at night. I like to put it on at night and just, like, kind of days off, because it's calming. It's calming for some people. Some people will go out and make crazy ASMR. I think that's funny too. You do get tingles from that, but it's also kind of, like, entertainment-wise. But that is kind of like a big bank, because YouTube, they'd be like, ooh, they'd be just handing out checks, kind of. Not really, I don't know. I haven't really dove far into YouTube. I've been procrastinating on my ASMR account because I do want to do ASMR, but we'll get into that. I'll let you guys know if I ever drop my first video. Definitely check it out, but you can definitely tell I love ASMR by my rant that I just did.
Yeah, Bridget loves ASMR, and I think it also suits it. Like, it matches her voice. Like, I think Bridget has a very, like, nice voice for ASMR. Yeah, it's a compliment, because my voice, I feel like it's more, like, loud. Like, even when I'm trying to be, like, calm, like, it sounds pretty loud. But Bridget's voice is pretty soothing. But Bridget, I kind of have a question for you. Do you like the ASMR where it's like they're talking a lot and explaining what they're doing, or do you like them, like, when they shut up?
So, like, no talking versus talking ASMR. On Sundays, like, when I'm trying to sleep, I don't like the talking, because then I'm just like, oh, what's going on? Like, and I put my brain to slow it down. But, yeah, I don't really have a preference, but besides that, it's more like if I'm awake and I'm, like, just trying to calm down during, like, a long day, but it's not, like, necessarily bedtime yet, and I do not want to fall asleep, I'll do with, like, talking and stuff like that. Or I could do, like, no talking, where it'll actually help me sleep better. I do. I have an Alexa. We were talking about this. Every time I say her name, she pops on. And,
Hi, Alexa.
she'll like you, but she plays automatic rain noises for me, and she also controls the light behind me. Alexa, turn the light red. Oh.
Yeah.
Alexa, turn the light purple.
Noticeable.
Back to purple.
We're always back in technology in every episode. I think it's going to be, like, a recurring thing.
Well, I mean, it's, like, advancing every day. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, so like I think that this is why you guys should also listen to Done Dirty Diaries every time you get a chance because everything that's new, even like technology wise, you'll get it here. Like we'll talk about it. Also, but like on the other side of media, besides good media, because I consider comforting media good media because it makes us feel pretty good. There's also a lot of emotional overload from media and especially the news because I think sometimes I see something and I'm affected for the rest of the day. So it's like, I read this thing online. It's also like the cortisol spike. The more we doom scroll, like it raises our cortisol and we're like we're feeling not feeling, we're actually feeling like the emotional stress in our nervous system every time we doom scroll and live those bad news. So I feel like personally, even though it's so important to educate ourselves, I'm going to try to filter out a lot of media, especially with what's happening in the world. But also, as influencers, I feel obligated to talk about things that are happening in the world. What do you feel like? Do you get affected
I
about
definitely
the
feel
negative
like
energy?
yeah, dopamine has a huge part to play to it because such short videos of all kinds that we could just swipe at like the tips of our fingers. We're like learning so much things so fast, but like at what expense is it when it's like it's just an AI video of like a giraffe or something like that. Like that's not very rewarding and enriching. Maybe yeah, it's funny. That's our like dopamine boost for that specific reel. And it kind of like affects our attention spans. Like some people like they'll be like, I cannot watch this 20-minute YouTube video tutorial. Yeah, like kind of like you could use AI to like shorten it down or you could watch a shorter video on it. But it really does affect our time spans. No, our attention spans, especially when it comes to like kids in high school. Kids are not very, well, not necessarily saying that kids aren't hard workers, but now since AI is very accessible, I know there's like a lot of cheating going on. There's a lot of like kids training on full head-on AI essays, and they don't change a single thing about it, and it's so noticeable because some of like the characters they use, kind of like maybe a specific time of dash that they use is only able
Yeah.
to be used by AI. So then the teacher knows, oh, you didn't type this, you definitely just like asked ChatGPT to write an essay for you, submitted that, and thought I wouldn't know.
But I saw this girl on TikTok though. She for the first time posted a TikTok of like, she was like, "What about people like me who actually know how to use the dash properly?" And she was actually like proving in the video that she knows, and she did it herself. So that made me laugh a
It's
lot
a
because I was like,
very specific dash because there's a normal dash and then there's
yeah.
a dash that cannot be reproduced unless it's like online or something like that. I do use Grammarly. My grammar can be really screwed up sometimes, and I'd be too shy to ask another person or a peer to like kind of read my thing for me. It's so weird, bro. Like I'll be like for example for this podcast, I showed my mom and she was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, really?" Like it was like butterflies in my stomach. Like I just got asked out by a crush or something like in middle school. Me as people, we're kind of scared to show other people who we want to be proud of us, like things like art, music. I know a lot of people out there kind of like when they do videos, they're scared to show their parents their videos. They're scared to show like their online persona or kind of like something they've been working on. Like say it's like you've been working on a whole castle that's made out of toothpicks. Like that's super freaking cool to go show someone right now. But a lot of people resort to that content creation to show off their stuff. You don't need to use your face. You could just show off like all the cool art you have. No pressure of showing your face. And maybe that's why a lot of people get into content creation in the first place, just to show off, hey, look at this. I just made a real freaking lightsaber. Mind you, that's real. Like if you go look that up, someone made a real lightsaber. That's super freaking sick. Yeah, I want to watch that.
I think it's because social media, even with businesses, but even with like people who don't have a business, it connects people with their niches and what they love. There's like woodcraft in social media. Like there's people making cocktails. There's people making all sorts of things and trying to sing and learning how to play piano for the first time in social media. So I think it's something that allows us to document what we love, and people love that to do because sometimes my dad always tells me, "Why are you not afraid to show your videos to millions of people, but you're so scared to show it to me, you're gonna click upload either way.
Oh my god, no, that's so freaking real, bro.
Yeah, but I guess it just depends on who sees it, guys. And I think everybody will agree. Like sometimes, like you want a stranger, somebody you don't even know their first name to see your art or your vlog
It's
or whatever
easier,
it is.
bro. For some reason, it's easier. I don't know the logic behind it or the science, but for some reason, it's easier to show a bunch of random people, like maybe my art or maybe just me lip syncing to whatever song I'm obsessed with that day. I don't really want to show that to my mom. Going back to what you said about kind of like the emotional distress, it comes from like kind of trying to be updated on news and all that. Like it is very exhausting, especially seeing what's happening to people on the news. But on the contrary, then there's that side of the government other than the people. All these people who are in power when, for example, more photos and more documents came from the Epstein files. That is a very heavy topic, and some people are joking about it. I don't know how I feel about that. It is kind of like trying to humoring people in like the grim point of it, because it is just so disturbing. It's just like, wow, like, is this really happening? And then you think of like all the people that it's affected. So that's another thing where it's like, wow, that anguish of just like, what is going on in the world. I know it's very grim when it comes to seeing things on the news where it's like, wow, that is absolutely unacceptable. And with already like enough problems that people are dealing with like money, stress related with work, kind of like providing for their own families, it's just like, wow, like it's exhausting to see all this stuff. And what's unfortunately also comforting is that it's kind of out of our hands. But what's a nice thing is that we have, at least here in America, we have the power to kind of freedom to protest, freedom of speech, know your rights. And if you feel like you're kind of being very overly like slammed in the face with all this horrible news, including like all the Epstein files and all like the photos releasing, things overseas like wars, just kind of take that moment for yourself and realize what you're in control of right now. Because the only thing you can control is how you just kind of perceive these news. Just know if your beliefs are in good spirit. Just know, no matter what's coming out of the news, that you truly are a good person on the inside. And do not get into anything like that. Hell no.
Back on the thing where you mentioned that a lot of people are trying to make light of it on TikTok, I will say though, and this is my opinion, that thing, seeing the Epstein files come out and the details and reading the files, ruined my day. I couldn't even sleep that night. So I would just say that you cannot make light of things that literally have no light, of disturbing things like that. So shame on those people. And honestly, like, I know we're human and we try to make light of these situations. People are turning it in a joke. In my country and over here in Europe, they're taking European characters and saying, oh, this person was also invited in the Epstein Island, just trying to make fun and trying to make it of like people you wouldn't expect was in that island. And I think that's just disturbing what happened and reading the files. And I think the main message here is that there should be rules in place for the ones who rule too. Politicians who have hella money, and I know this is a very basic and stupid example, but there's politicians who are part of big governments and strong countries who literally bike on their way to the government and they don't try to use their money in a harmful way. Meanwhile, we have billionaires doing what they did and we have these disturbing files, and it's honestly, you cannot just make light where there's no light. Personally, I couldn't sleep. But what I will just say is that I do try to filter the bad news sometimes because it did affect me and I did feel weird for the rest of the week. So I feel like Bridget said, sometimes just take a little bit of silence and a little bit of time for yourself to think of what you have under your control and what not, because those things on the files are not an example. I think that's all we have in our power is to change from now on and try to prevent the future situations like this.
Yeah, try to prevent something like this from ever happening again.
Yeah.
There's no joke with human trafficking. There's no joke with like kind of this huge example of like, wow, this is a huge kind of class and power divide. The much more money that you have, the more money you have, really kind of shows, oh, these kind of laws can sway for you in favor if you kind of like join us at this political party, or if you kind of support this certain thing.
But yeah, guys, overall, there's two types of media, and sometimes we should consume the comforting ones, but we should also be informed in the world. And it does affect our emotional state sometimes, but we should take the precautions and get the help and talk to somebody. For example, I know my parents were also really worried, so I talked to not only my parents to make them feel better, but I also had another person to talk to me to make myself feel better. But yeah, times are moving on, and I hope we can prevent future things like this. But yeah, Bridget, on a lighter note, I know it's 8th of February as we're filming this now. My question is, Valentine's Day is coming soon. Do you feel that Valentine's Day is weird? Do you have a Valentine? I know you're very fashionable, so how's everything fashion-wise for you that day, that pink day?
Oh gosh, there's no pressure like wearing pink. Gotta beep that. But I do have a Valentine, but we're gonna keep that on the DL real quick. I'll talk about that probably more upcoming podcasts. But I do have a kind of fashion conundrum. I have a precedent where it's like I cannot wear the same thing twice, which is a problem because then it's like, well, you can't really return stuff. I know there's a lot of models and influencers online who like wear stuff and then return it. I should probably do that too, but I don't know. Maybe I should just kind of like love my closet as it is already, because I was literally just looking like on Fashion Nova for a red dress. It kind of has like some frills at the bottom because we are going somewhere. But when it comes to Valentine's Day as a whole, I feel like it is a lot of pressure on couples and people who are not in relationships. Like, oh, I'm single this year, Valentine's. Gotta beep that.
I've never had a Valentine here. Let me just say, I've never had a Valentine. Always these weird situationships, not relationships, talking phases.
Oh no.
So you can't really do Valentine's Day. But I see a lot of people, like you said, like wearing pink and stuff. And I love the theme of Valentine's, but sometimes I'm like, oh my God, this is not just a theme. These are people going out on dates. I see my parents going out on a date. It's all
Dude, there's a lot of expectations on both parties. There's some people who will not settle for less, or some like flowers bought from the drugstore. You know, some people just want that like princess treatment, prince treatment, all that, and it is a lot of pressure, you know. For me personally, I do love Valentine's Day, at least when I am in a relationship. I do get really pissed off when it's not, but I do love kind of like the tradition of it's like the day for spreading love despite having a Valentine. That's at least what we were taught when we were young. I guess as soon as we got older, it's more so kind of having some special someone to spend that day with. But in like elementary school over here in America, we would make custom Valentine's boxes. I always loved my boxes that I made. Would always put stickers on it, and you slap your big name on it with like a Sharpie or something. And then at the end of the day, because sometimes on Valentine's Day we have school, if it's not on a day, like for example, I think this year Valentine's Day is on a Saturday, they just select a day where there will be time for students around the class to like pass their peers the little Valentines that they made. And it's so cute and it's so funny because if you have a crush in that class, their little Spider-Man Valentine means the world to you. Like, oh my God, they made this Valentine just for me. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Meanwhile, we're like in 3rd grade. Like, it's not that serious.
I have a lot in my mind. Guys, so sorry. This is my ADHD coming in.
No, go for it.
First off, people in Kosovo don't really organize that in school. So like, this is why US was so special to me as an exchange student. But my question is, because I always see people wearing different outfits and be fashionable in different ways. I just wanted to ask you, like, first off, do you judge me for repeating outfits? Because I repeat a lot of outfits because I love like very...
No. true.
Okay, so that's like a personal thing because I
More
know
to a day-to-day basis, I repeat outfits, but like when it's like a really special event or like a holiday, I do not like repeating outfits because if I don't like it the last year, I'm not gonna wear it again the next year.
Yeah, I think you kind of also feel, this is a very interesting topic. I feel like Bridget probably, or people that don't like to repeat outfits, it's probably like the sacredity of it, like how sacred that energy, that outfit holds. Because for some people, outfits are just like an armor or just like I'm wearing something just to wear something. But for some people, like, I feel like an outfit kind of is a statement in a way. And I feel like
It is a statement. I was literally about to say that.
yeah, I feel like you're one of those people, like, and I love that. But I'm also one of those annoying people who, if I'm just wearing a very nice black outfit, I'm like, oh, I've matched my pants with my t-shirt with my shoes. I'm all like very like monochromatic. Like the people who are in graphic design would love my outfit. So I'm like, it's also a statement. And I see also Kim Kardashian do that a lot with her house and with her fashion. But I'm
Kind of like the modernization.
yeah, I'm on that side of fashion, but I really love that you combine different outfits because I stalk Bridget all the time, guys, on Instagram and TikTok.
It's like growth in a way, you know, because like I did for a while. I used to still wear like clothes I had from middle school up until senior year because it still fit. I think I stopped growing at a specific time where it's like, oh, I mean, all my clothes are stretchy, so why not? Of course, when it started getting holes or it's starting to get like visibly old, I threw it out. But it kind of shows me over the years of like, oh, I remember that dress. There are dresses that I do wear still, but if it's like a really big occasion, like I did end up selling one of my birthday dresses for another girl to love. It ended up not fitting her and I felt so bad, but she didn't want a refund. I guess she resold it again, but it had such a special place in my heart because one, it was pink, that's a big statement, and two, it was so nice and frilly and like extra and extravagant. It definitely made a statement.
Yeah, I feel like your style is a lot because I see you a lot on social media. Is a lot of like classic meets like princess, which I'm like, oh my god, where does she find these like special outfits? Like it's probably also like
lots of scrolling on TikTok and just like Amazon, Instagram, seeing what I can find.
Do you thrift shop, Bridget? Have you ever tried thrift shopping? I've never have.
I've been thrifting before. I mean, I haven't gone to any like really cool places. I have this coworker and she has the coolest freaking style ever. Her jewelry is so cool and she goes thrifting at this one antique store, but I don't know where it is. But mostly I go thrifting at like Goodwill or maybe like Ross or Marshall. Nothing too like niche per se, but I do sometimes find like really good finds. Like some of my pieces in my closet I got from Goodwill, and you know, it's way better than Shein in a way because, not gonna lie, all Shein clothes either ends up in Goodwill, the trash, or somewhere else. That's where Shein clothes go to die. It's crazy how fast fashion is. And I used to consume a lot of fast fashion. Like, you know, I mean, Fashion Nova is low-key still fast fashion, but I try to stay away from Shein. Temu actually reached out to me via email to like do a promotion with them, and I was like, hell no.
Oh my god, I was like all excited on the camera. Sorry, Bridget.
But no, I can't. It's against my morals. I'm sorry.
It's just that my cousins, Bridget, they wear very nice clothes. And I'm like, where did you get it? They're like, oh, I thrifted it. So to me, it just sounds like a very cool concept. And I know it's weird me calling it a concept because millions of people around the world do it. But I've never tried going in a thrift store. But they look so nice. And I'm like, oh my God, it's probably a good deal looking nice. And also buying it for cheap.
Do you know what I hate? There are really like seasoned thrifters, but what they do is they find really cute clothes and then they go on Depop and they sell it for like 3 times the price they got it. And to me, it's like they're taking away from like fashionable items that people who like can't really necessarily afford like bigger brands or like nicer clothes, and they're just leaving it all like the dumpy stuff for the other people who aren't like really good at thrifting and who are actually just trying to find good clothes for their bag and kind of want to be fashionable without breaking a buck. So it's like, where is like kind of the ethics for that? Where is the morality in that? Like, really, is that how greedy you are for money? But I get there's people out there just trying to survive, but come on.
Yeah, that's probably one of the craziest, let's just say another crazy way. That's actually the craziest one I heard on this episode. I kind of want to know how much our audience goes thrift shopping. So for anything like this segment, guys, or other segments. If something resonated with you, please clip it and tag us, and we'll repost favorites, and we'll be definitely so active on social media.
For the time being, we'll be making a Google document where you can kind of submit submissions for stories or anything you want kind of advice from us on. It'll be in our bios for our social medias. On TikTok, it is Done Dirty Pod. On Instagram, it's Done Dirty Diaries. And on everywhere else, it is Done Dirty Diaries. So make sure you can like the video if you really liked it. If you hated it, just give us feedback in the comments and maybe we can reply to you. Well, not maybe. We always read our comments. We're kind of weird like that. But if you really like this episode, please share it. Please download it. Please tell your mom about it or something. Maybe she'll really resonate with something we said today. But of course, again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Bridget.
And I'm Marcus. And thanks for listening to Done Dirty Diaries. Thank you, guys. I'll be reading those submissions, so submit them. I'm happy to read them every time.
So tune in next Wednesday and we'll see you very soon. All right.
Bye, guys. See you. Love you guys.